Okie dokie. Oh, dang it. I also forgot. I meant to grab enchant armor scrolls on the way up and drop them all on my shield. Alas, should be just fine. Let's hop down, shall we? Okay, Quicksilver Slime and Rock Slime. These are two new buddies that I've never faced before. Thin coating of shining reflective goo covering a great area and rushing forward with startling speed. Enchantments slide off it like water. It drains magic if any damage is dealt, and it also engulfs. Okay, it at least doesn't get rid of enchantments on us, which is what I was worried about. Anything Quicksilver, you want to be cautious of if you're casting statue form as your main source of just, you know, staying alive. What about this? An oozing avalanche scouring the ground beneath it as it rumbles forward. It consumes only the metal and bone from its victim, using them to reinforce itself even further. Very cool. It can hit pretty hard and knocks you back. Good to know. So let's not get knocked off the stairs if we can help it. But we see some enemies crowded together. They're all fairly close by. Could try for our very first ignition of the game here. What is that set to? On A? Let's do it. So then I just started blasting. Heck yeah. See how much damage that does. I also, actually, now that I think about it for even a split second, I forgot to pick up the Staff of Fire on our way up as well. And that is worth going back for. So let us, I guess, start fighting a little bit, being cognizant of that rock slime and ready for them to shove us off. The rock slime, I'm guessing, was resistant to fire, if not immune. Very resistant to fire. That makes sense, actually. If it's all made of rock and metal, you'd have to burn pretty hot to do anything effective there. Well, it's still probably worth it for yet another ignition, if just to clear up all these little green buddies before they start joining into each other. And then can use IMB to keep the rock slime potentially off of us and stop it from pushing us off of our stair. Even though I should maybe just bring it upstairs. Hey, you came with me and everything. Love to see it. I was very concerned that before we managed to bring it up, it would just push us off the stairs completely, but never didn't have it. So let's just head back down, shall we? And again, just continue blasting here. Ignition is an incredible spell, folks. Absolutely ridiculous. So satisfying how many lines of dialogue come up each turn that you shoot that off in a crowded room. And there we go. Should be able to tap through the rest of this, maybe being slightly aware of the slime creatures, make sure that they don't form into a titanic slime and I just don't pay attention. And oh my gosh, Zom, you don't know how much you just saved my butt there. Our butterflies, I was hoping would body block some of the mutations from the Shining Eye here. Unfortunately not the case, but we should still be able to take them out before getting hit by too many maledictions. And let's not wait on that floor now that I think about it, because Zom might teleport us away from the stairs, which is not what we're looking for. And let's instead find our staff here, and we actually have a closer Staff of Fire on D12. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Let's run and grab that bad boy. Oh, what did you give us now, Zom? What did you do? Just more gold. Okay. We'll pick up the Staff of Fire, and then I believe all of our enchantment scrolls... Oh, we need to empty our inventory. But all of our enchantment scrolls are on the floor below as well, so we will take that trip on top of things. Can drop our Ring of See Invisible for the time being. And I guess... Could drop this amulet. I could actually switch over to this amulet for this trip in particular, and in fact I think I might do that. Another pip of resistance to cold. Spirit will just help keep us alive against the multitude of slimes that we end up fighting. Maybe Wand of Paralysis can go. It's no longer useful at this stage in the game. We don't have quite enough evocation skill for it to actually be effective against the stronger monsters that we come across at this stage. And so that, I guess, is exactly 2 slots, which is kind of what we need here. Though we won't be carrying these enchant armor scrolls around for long. We mostly want to just immediately use them up, I believe. Pretty happy with this shielded protection for the rest of our journey here. Oh, dang it. Never mind. That's as high as it enchants. Oh, wow. And there was a Staff of Fire literally in this pile as well. That is silly. Or did I drop it? For some reason? Pick that up. Did something weird there, but no matter. Let's head back to Slime with all of our tools in place now. Not too bad. Yeah, we're just crossing our fingers. Please, Zom, don't take me on a wild ride. Not here, not now. Okay. Fun stuff. What have we got to work with here? Confusion Gaze does do a willpower check. That's good to know. What have we got? Energy Bolt. Fortunately, I don't want to find another stairway on the floor above, so I think we will just make our mark here. So, just get blasting once more. Nothing but ignitions. That should, yeah, take out all the gold eyes with no problems. We do find ourselves up against another rock slime. Interesting. At least on their own, they're not really a problem here. We did manage to fight one in close quarters combat. Perfect. Ooh, let's not run towards anyone though, game. I definitely prefer to let them come to us. Try not to make too much noise or any more noise than we absolutely have to. And then we can just zippity-doo-dah our way through the rest of this. In fact, here I'm not going to ignition and instead gonna stay a little bit quieter, if possible. Definitely is an if possible thing because slimes themselves make a lot of noise just in ambient combat. But nothing we cannot handle. I think we're good against a Quicksilver slime. They do engulf, which isn't great. We'll slowly but surely add up the damage that we're taking, but perfect. Oh, do you know what I should actually do is run back here, run upstairs, and let's change out some of our inventory things before the end of days here. Ignition is down to 4% chance. That's probably fairly safe. I won't, I think, switch over to our intelligence ring, even though, here's how it affects the power, actually. Power and damage even, 3d15, versus if I put on an intelligence ring, maybe switch it off for our willpower ring, now that we have some of that naturally. Because even without that, we have 3 pips of willpower, perfect. And that brings us to 3d16, so another 3 potential damage, whoop whoop. Guess it also brings us down to 3% failure rate, which isn't horrible, don't get me wrong. And last but not least, we will switch over to our Amulet Paka here. I think that should help us out on some level. And I haven't seen any Azure slimes yet. Did they get taken out? They very likely could have been taken out of the game. Let us read. We have 6 magic mapping scrolls, so we can definitely afford to pop some on now. That'll just let me quickly block off all the entrances to the central pit here. I'd personally like to clear out a decent amount of the floor before we find ourselves fighting the Royal Jelly. If we can safely, of course. The only issue there is oftentimes we will wake up the Royal Jelly and have them come out towards us. That's not exactly ideal. A little bit better on this type of character. Usually I'm very cautious on like a melee character. A melee character wants to fight the Royal Jelly in these hallways. Guaranteed every time. But on a blaster caster with ignition in particular, I mean, the more slimes that get summoned in a big area, the more damage our ignition does. Still not the best calculus, probably. Still might rather be safe than have fun just blasting everything, but at least not as much of a game changer. Let's see, we feel clever and we feel less in control of our magic. Interesting. So a little hard to cast and a little more powerful. Where does that take us? Hey, I'll definitely take that. Nothing is effective in too big of a way. And so, that just gives us more power, basically. Thanks, Zom. You're an absolute pal. Stop. Stop corroding me. Stop this. Don't do that. Jesus. Nothing but acid buddies here, acid blobs. In a controlled situation, though, definitely no problem whatsoever fighting them. It's only when you truly start getting ridiculous stacks of corrosion effect on you that things get truly scary there. In fact, I will just blast you out of the sky, I think. We want to be careful. I want enough magic for IMB at any given moment here, with the slimes growing in size. Ooh, if you'll go down in size, though, that's just fine and dandy with me. Perfect. Got some very good luck in this fight for sure, because that could have been a titanic slime and a large slime hammering away on us. And it doesn't seem like we've managed to wake up the royal jelly yet either, which is very lucky. But now's the time to do so on purpose, as we have managed to clear out most of the area here. I think to do so, I will head... I'm looking at all the different gateways. I think we'll head to this one. There is a Zot trap there, but it shouldn't be in a place that causes us issues. So... Oops, that's not what we wanted to do. Get rid of our exclusion here. Statue form up. Oh hey, Zerg jellies are still alive. They still exist. I knew they weren't just a myth. We have almost guaranteed woken up the royal jelly by this point, though. So let's be careful of when she might be popping out, or they might be popping out of the entrance here. Ideally, maybe we haven't actually. Maybe we've managed to stay just quiet enough. Holy cow. That is extremely fortuitous. We're getting very lucky with our royal jelly encounter so far. And ooh, a steaming bone ring waiting for us. Do love me an artifact ring. And so, here we go. Phantom Mirror only works on line of sight. Indeed it does. What else do we have going for us? Condenser Vein will do wonders. Lightning Rod will also do wonders. In fact, can I hit you with Lightning Rod now, Royal Jelly? Not quite. We could also dip in. Do we have any Scrolls of Immolation? Oh no, we have no Scrolls of Immolation. Okay. I was thinking of how many techniques we could stack up on top of each other to just blast the royal jelly out of the skies here, but we should be good as is. So let's start with a lightning rod. That should hurt the royal jelly enough to spawn in a few critters. Maybe not quite as much as I would have liked, so let's do that one more time. And as soon as we have the mass here, like that, we can think about condenser veining. There we go. I want to make sure the royal jelly wasn't around a corner, because these glass walls do count as blocking our line of sight in a fancy way. But this should do the trick. We get cold clouds, which I don't know. I don't think that's great. Let's take a peek though. Immune to acid, resistant to poison. Do it just fine then. Never mind, I'm a fool. And now it is time to get a little crazy. We switch over to our Staff of Fire. And again, as always, just start blasting. Excited to see what this does. So many lines of text as everything around us gets absolutely shredded. Royal Jelly already down to half health. You love to see it. In fact, Rod of Lightning already regaining in charge too. All that should be left at the end of days here are a few rock slimes. I'm guessing everything else is going to get absolutely destroyed in the inferno that we create. Oh my gosh, that is a lot of rock slimes though, don't get me wrong. Okay, if I cast this here, is it hitting this one? I don't think it is. I don't know if the royal jelly gets hit. Ah, they do. Never mind, scratch that. Everything working out exactly as we so desire. Killing the royal jelly without too much trouble. And it's sad how difficult that can be with some characters. And then you come in with a blaster caster and ignition, and it's just the most straightforward fight you'll ever have to make your way through. Jeez Louise. We'll definitely retreat back into the corridor. I still think I'll do one more ignition just to clear out the rest of the non-rock slimes. Should pretty much do the trick, killing off most of the acid slimes, most of the quicksilver slimes, it's looking like. You can make it so that you don't get a force more here and you don't have to press a button, but with ignition I kind of like feeling just how effective it was by the number of times that you have to press a button to continue through. Also, let's not attack with this Staff of Fire. Let's switch back to our Demonic Trident, and we should be able to make it through the rest of these bad boys without too much trouble. Maybe even throwing in the occasional IMB to get them off of our backs. And let's see, what are you not resistant to? You are resistant to electricity. You're not resistant to cold, weirdly enough. Interesting. So we could start ice blasting if we get out of this corridor. Otherwise... Right, no. We don't have any mana, so that's not an option. Could Condenser Vein again already? Holy cow, got a whole lot of experience out of that fight. There we go, we'll just use our box, bring in a friend. Then we will just be fighting these buddies one at a time in this position. Dang it, mature Fire Beast, what the heck are you doing with your life? I didn't give you permission to die. And there we go. Sentinel's mark forms on us. I don't think that's going to be a big deal here. I'm pretty sure we've cleared the whole level, but I guess we're about to find out the hard way. And not too bad. That will be our third rune under our belts. There will still be Zot to clear, of course. But somehow, our Roctopode is going to make it through. Maybe, just maybe, if we're lucky. See, I kind of want to keep the Staff of Fire around. I might actually stop or drop the Staff of Earth. I haven't been taking advantage of that. Curari Darts, while incredible in a lot of situations, will do slightly less effective work in Zot itself. And one Ring of Willpower can also hit the ground for now. Let's see, anything else? Ah, we accidentally picked up another box of beasts. That can go. And then we will pick up the File Floods, rounding out the last, or almost the last of our evocable items. We still have a Zom's chest piece to carry, which I think I saw up above here. But maybe not. Was there one here? Please, game? There it is. Sweet, sweet devotion to our own god here. So we gotta use this, right? There's no ifs or buts about it. If you're worshipping Zom, you gotta use the chest piece. But I will pop into our auto pickup here and just quickly turn off what was it? The evocables that we already have. In fact, I'll turn off the pieces from Zom's chessboard because I'll go just immediately pick that up myself. Perfect. And wow, yeah, a lot of artifact rings here actually. Hopefully one of them is slightly more effective than what we've gotten so far. This is much better than our current resistance from cold rings, so I'm going to be doing a lot of inventory management here. Let's drop Durchonk here. Cool name, bad effect. What else can we drop? Mind Burst could probably go. Yeah, we'll drop the Wand of Mind Burst for now. We'll mostly be relying on acid and our spells here. What else? Identify Scroll can definitely go. And hopefully that will be good. We'll see what kind of nastiness we end up picking up here. But immediately, Cassisen gets switched out for protection from cold. Love to see it. Let's just manually pick up treasure here to maybe save us some trouble and make sure that we don't forget anything as well. AC +4, Dex +6. Would be incredible on an early Octopode. Any source of AC and rings is exactly what you're crossing your fingers and hoping for on most Octopodes, but I don't think we need it in this case. Oh my gosh, game. Why you gotta give this to me when I'm playing as an Octopode? +12 gold dragon scales. I guess Harm I don't love. It's a pretty scary ego. but it could have been a lot of fun, at the very least. I also maybe over-exaggerating because I kind of forget that when you have an artifact of something with ambient resistances, they show up. So this looks like a whole lot of effects, but truly it's just a fully enchanted gold dragon scales with harm and dex. So maybe not quite as incredible as it seemed on first blush, but regardless, we're an octopode, we don't care. Hey Gary Byrne, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far, and welcome to the stream here. Yeah, no, definitely pretty nice armor. Not relevant to us, but you gotta always... I would be remiss if I didn't complain a little bit about running into cool armors on an octopode. It's the one thing we all do with this game, right? Because it happens all the time. But we did just manage to get our third rune here, so let's get the heck back out of here. And probably start heading towards Zot. Why would you do Chaos Knight on an octopode? So we actually found a faded altar. I can't remember if it was on D1 or D2, but we took a faded altar trying to get some extra points for the tournament here. Ran into Zom. I know most people would probably just abandon them, switch over to another god, just work their way through the wrath, but decided to go with it. We're just having fun here anyway. And surprisingly, somehow made it this far in the run without getting completely destroyed by our one true saver, Zom. Have had a couple of close calls, but we've even been pulled out of danger a couple times. We got a very fortunate roller coaster teleport around the map right when we were thinking about doing our own teleportation scroll. So, at the end of the day, we'll take whatever we can get. And be happy with whoever we find out of a faded altar. I do find it a fun kind of difficulty spike to just always be happy with whichever god you get from the faded altars and just roll with it. Because yeah, I'm not too worried about streaking. I'm not trying my best to get a win with every single run here. Definitely more about the flavor, the adventure as it were. And Zom and Zot 5 is really bad though. Fully agree. If we get teleported into the lungs one too many times, oh me oh my. That's not going to happen. Don't you worry about it. We believe. As we get horribly drained by Zom. Thank you, bud. We're trying to talk you up here. Stop. Stop it. You're making me look bad in front of my new friend. The other problem is getting Trog on a caster. Very much so. I guess that's maybe one where I would reevaluate my fun self-imposed rules. But hasn't happened to me yet so far in the tournament, so all's well. And, ooh, right. We finally got fire magic up to the decent point here, so what shall we do? I almost am remiss to train anything. We could just go fighting, get some HP at the end here. We could go spell casting, see if there are any other spells that we want to learn, get some more spell points. Or memorization points. I guess we maybe are even better off taking a look at our spells and seeing where we're maybe slightly lacking in spell power here. And yeah, you remember that it happened in Yermak on a streak? Oof, that's really tough. Yeah, I don't know if I care too much about our spells. Are honestly doing fairly well here at this stage in the game. Irradiate, we could try and raise that spell power a little bit. And in fact, both that and Iron Shot are based off of conjurations. And in defensive, yeah, Gerburn mentioning dodging as well. Definitely could. It's nice to have that ambiently. Again, I always say that it's something that I never like to rely on just because rolling the dice too many times in a row is eventually going to put us in a rough spot. But at this point, I'm not feeling too picky about what we train, so why the heck not, right? And yeah, instead of spellcasting, I think I'm going to go conjurations just for fun. And we'll focus dodging even just to get that going up. It's at a fairly low level too, so it should rank up pretty quickly with the experience that we're getting in Zot. And here we go, our first Orb of Fire. Let's see how it goes. The evasion bonus of dodge and scales with dex, at 28 dex, it's really good. Oh, right, and that's actually something that I haven't fooled around with yet in 0.27. I wasn't playing in Trunk at all before the release here, and they made the step downs on evasion a lot more forgiving, right? Like, you can get up to ridiculous evasion scores now. I might have to do an evasion-based build now that I think about it that way. kind of forgot about that. But okie dokie. Let us just take out this buddy. What is our fire resistance? Not great, actually. So, that's something maybe to work on here. We do have quite a few sources of resistance to fire around the dungeon that I've just forgotten to switch into before coming down. But let's take a look at how Iron Shot does to take care of Orbs of Fire. We at least have some resistance to mutation, thanks to Zom. So that'll hopefully avoid us from getting malmutated completely to heck here. And it should go down in just a few Iron Shots as long as we don't miss too many shots. A little closer than I would like, but again, we can fix that. We can definitely fix that with slightly more resistance to fire. Not too bad. Good little taste test there. Good check to see how we're doing, how we would fare against future Orbs of Fire, especially in Zot 5. And we should also, yeah, as Gary mentioned, the Radiate is definitely something we should remember to use against Orbs of Fire. Less resistance and also deals ridiculous damage with the 3d30. But let's look up. Oops. Usually like to do RF plus instead. And let's see. Have a protection from fire ring that we could, I think, switch to. We could almost actually afford to put on this fire ring. Get the int +5 bonus as well. We have 2 pips of resistant to cold. We might want to be a little cautious against certain enemies that we may or may not run into, but at the end of the day, that will make our ignition absolutely slap as well, if that ever comes into effect against a huge draconian pack or something like that. I think I might have talked myself into it. At least carrying it around. We can also maybe grab one of the resist fire rings, the standard ones, on our way. Let's see how she goes. And yeah, we do have the Staff of Fire as well, that is correct. Dang it, inventory management, not my strong suit. I sure wish that we had more enchant weapon scrolls. We could bring this up to a decent point, start using our electrocution brand for the end game here, but all is fine there. We can drop our protection from cold. We can probably drop our willpower with a natural 3 pips, that's not too bad. But we'll leave it for now. What else? Right, our amulet we were wearing mostly for slime, but I might keep it around. I don't love losing too much magic point. Unexpectedly at the very least. That's something that I've always struggled with, is keeping around enough for emergencies. We should probably drop this ring. And in fact, there will for now. I mostly just wanted to have a collection of artifact rings, but we've ended up having to leave a bunch lying around just because inventory gets way too full of crap. Scroll of Amnesia can go to, why the heck not? And let's pick this up. Do we have a Reflect Amulet? There have been, I think there was a artifact one that we just left behind. It wasn't horrible by any stretch of the imagination, and it is nice for a lot of the spells that we go up against, but for the time being, I'm not going to worry too much about it. The extra shielding, I guess, is also huge in general, just for staying alive. But I think I'm happy with where we're at. I'm not too dead set on min-maxing on every single little aspect of the game. As long as I'm comfortable enough to win, should be okay. Though of course, saying things like that is just tempting fate completely. But with Zom by our side, we don't need fate, we make our own. And in fact, we could start upgrading our Demon Trident of Lek, but I might just get the extra Slain bonus and keep it up. Been doing us fine so far, to say the very least. And at the end of the day, we have like 3 brand weapon scrolls lying around, so we could just brand weapon roulette on our advanced Demon Trident and see what we get out of it. If we truly wanted to switch off, especially maybe if we're fighting a lot of undead things, or I guess just non-living is maybe the better way to say that, since not all non-living things are undead. There's a bit of a middle ground in this game. Should be okay as long as you don't lose statue at a bad time and Zom doesn't teleport you on Zot 5. Oh, I'm sure Zom will teleport us on Zot 5, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And we'll make it through sheer power of belief. Definitely want to LRD before that Moth of Wrath takes on the Golden Dragon, of course. Would otherwise be a pain in the butt. Same with Ghost Moth here. Let's just get rid of that so that we can start regenerating MP. Trying to always have enough to reinstate our statue form, if need be. Hello, friends. Well, here's where I can actually remember for once to use Irradiate. Perfect. And, I do wish I had slightly more mana. Maybe I should switch off of this Spirit Guard Amulet. Just for Ogleb's Toxic Radiation would definitely do some wonders here in this much of a crowd. Ooh, and we also lose our statue form, of course. So, let's see here. Don't want to walk too far into the unknown, but we could probably at least step into the hallway here. In fact, I will do so. The one nice thing about losing statue form right at this moment is we're at least faster now than we otherwise might be. We also, I think, are we ambiently poison resistant? We are not. We were using statue form for that. Ignition is great, but costs a bit more experience, unfortunately. Or not experience, magic points, and that's what we're struggling with right now. I'm just going to let the poison hit me, though, because we at the very least have a whole lot of curing potions that we've picked up. And in fact, let's just chug one of those now. And, this is where we could read like a Scroll of Teleport if we wanted. Just try and get the heck out of here. There is a lot of unexplored floor, which is never great, but at the same time, we might lose our ability to do so. So I think I will, and if we don't lose our ability to do so, we can always cancel that on a moment's notice. Just have to stay alive a little bit longer than usual, of course, due to Zot's fancy effects on teleportation. And ideally, you'll not blow more poison on us. Up to 6 magic, which does mean we can go back into statue mode at the very least. And that should allow us to stay alive long enough for the teleport to take effect, and we're at least in statue form for when the teleport takes us somewhere, which is pretty solid. We could drink magic, that is definitely a half-decent suggestion there, but never unlucky. Never didn't believe. Of course, we're just going to get teleported to the perfect place, like we always do. Sometimes you gotta fly by the seat of your pants. Makes some noise, hear someone calling for help, should be all good. And now, let us try and be a little more aware here. Ignition's still probably pretty good here, but Ogleb's got us this far. I'm gonna believe. And now Ignition is incredible. As soon as you have all these enemies bunched up together, you're getting triple hits, quadruple hits. Absolutely incredible. Also makes enough noise to potentially draw in more monsters, but we should be okay with crowds here. Just keeping an eye on how many red draconians are in the group, of course. And one more should do it for half of these bad boys. So satisfying. Let's maybe start retreating into my corridor, though. Will at least save us from facing an attack on too many angles. Perfect. You can turn off the force more for lots of messages. Yeah, we were talking about that just earlier today, and about how we definitely could for the general force more. But sometimes I like the satisfaction of clicking through, especially for Ignition in particular. Such a huge array of effects that, I don't know, some part of me just wants it around, you know? But here we go. We'll turn this corner so that we're only ever having to face one of these bad boys at a time here. Did I ever put on that resistance to fire ring? I did not. What do you do? Quicksilver Bolt, pain in the butt. Also, all the fire, hurl damnation. We are also negative scrolled here, so let's be cognizant of that. I think I'm gonna start off. Hello game, are we okay? Don't want to press anything too quickly here, just in case it's a server lag thing. But I'm going to drink 1 potion of healing here. And then I think I will actually stack an Ogleb's on top. Hoping not to get Quicksilver bolted, which isn't great. You should never just hope, but it is what we do here. In fact, there we go. We do, in fact, lose our statue form. Perfect time for that. Love it. But it does mean we can more easily run away, especially if we curing out of our confusion. Hurl Damnation can kill us on a max roll, but only on a max roll. So I'm going to take a couple steps, heal up 1 more time, and do more of the same. Each turn that Purple Draconian takes, shooting something at us is actually kind of advantageous to us, because it does allow us to just gain enough distance to make it out of there with no problem. And let's maybe slow this down a bit so I'm not burning through resources quite so quickly. And keep statue forming up this close to the stairs. We're a little bit safer. I should have also, again, switched to my resist fire. I don't know how I've gotten so many wins in this game when I seem to just be absolute trash at remembering every little piece of detailed minutia. But hey, we've done it before. Again, just far more times than it should have based on our performance here. But there we go. Let us do that now, shall we? We'll switch that ring, maybe for just one of our rings of intelligence. We'll keep around all of the rest of this fun stuff, and we're at a pretty decent spot at 49 int. Poison up for the Draconian behind the Tentacled Monstrosity here. Not too bad. Ah, hello friends. Gonna try maybe just a couple more fights with the Spirit Guardian necklace, and then I should really switch off of it if things continually get rough. Hey Zombs, thank you for the teleport. This actually isn't a horrible place, all things considered. I'm going to immediately start poisoning some of the Draconians here, and then once they start hitting our way, we can head into our little cubby hole and fight the old-fashioned way. Not too bad. Gotta be careful of the shifters and some of the higher damage spells, of course, but for the most part, as long as we're taking these fights slowly, being cognizant of things, everything should be just fine. You know what? You're getting absolutely deleted immediately. Perfect. Let's do a little bit more OTR action. Get rid of the red Draconians here at the very least. With between Ignition and OTR, we at least can deal with any color of Draconian. So it's a nice combination to have for sure by this stage in the game. And come on, Death Cobs. You think slowing me phases me whatsoever? I slow myself in every fight on purpose by turning into stone. Don't at me. Perfect. And definitely have improved our spot at least a little bit. Oh, hello, Thumb. You chose the wrong place to stand, I can tell you that much. Let's just irradiate the crap out of people around me. I think I can get 2 casts in, no problem. In fact, probably more than I otherwise might be able to, just with resistance to mutation. Though, I wouldn't be surprised if contamination supersedes that. I know that zombie mutations definitely seem to, so it would make sense in its own way.